hello and welcome to Real Life Matters with Sandra. On this channel, we talk about real life matters, and thank you for watching my previous episodes. I do value your support and your encouragement. Today, I'm joined with a young lady who, to me, has blown me with a presentation that she did to the Rotalom 80s Europe chapter, where she spoke about family and thriving family units. So if you'd like to introduce yourself, madam.
I'm Heitayo Shifadurindina, and thanks for having me. I'm a young individual, and I have the passion for comparing what goes on in life and what we should be doing. And as a matter of fact, from my training and background, accounting and some other things I do now, I tend to find it more easy to make life what it should really be, because as an accountant you have a lot of projections, and at the end of the day, when you do your budget, you still have some set deficit at the end of the day, which life eventually has given us a good reason to we should really take stock and go into the future. And with the year we've all had globally, it's a definite way to say there's a paradigm shift in everything, especially the life we live. And if we want to just kid yourself, you're going to say it's going to be business as usual. No, it's not going to be business as usual. And this kind of conversation is definitely the kind of one we need to be having. Every part of the family needs to thrive. A lot of families have been thrown into all sorts of situations. You have children that had parents dependent on them now having the situation turned around. We have breadwinners taken away at the snap of the finger, and the whole setup is now something else. So it's just a case of we trying to be proactive, moving ahead with times, taking control of what the life is turning itself into right in our faces. And it's a good situation that we find ourselves to be alive, and the best bet is to make use of it and have a good life.
That's very comprehensive. I love the fact that, we're being agile and thinking about the situation that we found ourselves with COVID pandemic and all of that, and how we're coping, and the fact that family as we knew it then has kind of changed in a way because of this COVID and the separation of people as well. So it's really good to have you on board and talking about family and the thriving of the family unit. So let's kick off by me just asking, if you can describe a typical family unit to us, nuclear versus extended family, and what are the advantages and disadvantages of this family unit?
In this conversation, we're going to have a base, and the base is the nuclear family, the mom, dad, and the children. And with the life we live in and we're going to continue to live, there's always a spillover. And in the mom, dad, children situation, there's a varied mix. In between, you have stepfather coming in as now the father. We have the absent father having an input at some point, absent mother having an input at some point. So it's not going to be like a one-size-fits-all situation, but the basic foundation is going to be like those that really run the short of everyday family life. Well, you have your parents as a mom, so you have your grandparents, they would have done their role in your life, but you still have an input where the grandparents still have sleepover of children, and people still having a reason to drop children with their grandparents because of works and some other demands. And you also have children that having shared parenting. So the father is there on one side, the mother is on the other side, and there are other people involved in these children. So all these units come together as one in what we'll be looking at today.
And I suppose with COVID, that's where this idea of creating bubbles came into it, because of the support network that we all have around us. We need to kind of keep those support networks in some respect. Obviously not during the lockdowns that we've had, but where we've had the relaxation of the rules, people have been able to maintain those support bubbles to be able to function still as families. So
So
in
I
your
think I want to add to what you
yes.
just said. Okay, now with this pandemic, now we now even have a clearer understanding of what support bubbles are.
Mhm.
So in essence, the support bubble is going to be part of the family we're going to be looking at, because at the end of the day, there are some people that we consider family that the absence in our lives because of this COVID situation had really impacted us a lot. In the time past, you didn't even know we had much influence in them until this situation that it was taken away from us. So we tend to like put that into perspective and identify that yes, this is the family we're talking about. And also in this pandemic, there are people that we thought were really families and they were not families because they were not even in our support bubbles and we've not really missed them. Though we have conversations with them regularly, but are they really key to where we're going in life? Which is what we need to identify. Are they really key? What value did they bring to the table of the picture we want to paint for ourselves, for the children we're talking about in the long run? So that's going to be part of the key things.
Yeah, that's really interesting because I think the point about the extended families, sometimes it doesn't have to be blood. You don't have to have a blood relation. The bubbles have shown us that. Some people are in bubbles because they're close allies, they're close friends. They're there when we call upon them.
And they have something to bring onto the table.
Exactly. They bring something to the table, and therefore you could extend, the definition of family to them, couldn't you?
To them.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So in your view then, what makes a successful or happy family unit?
Well, for us to be realistic about things, success is about what makes us happy, and success is all about the aspirations and plans and the prototype of where we want to be in a couple of years, and we being on that prototype platform. So to me, for a successful family, it's every family unit striving in what they have aspired and they've planned they want to be. Being a successful family is all about the both, because in the family unit, there's something we call, in the presentation I did, there's a CEO. So we likened it to an organization. So in the CEO enterprise, the man calls the shot for the organization, and the success or failure of that company relies on the CEO. We've seen in the UK in recent times when they're calling for the resignation of the CEO because the company bust or the profit that were wrongly declared and all that. So he carries everything on his shoulder. Then going down from the CEO, who is the father, is the mom. And the mom is like not a shareholder, but somebody that you can call a partner and in the board, and the children. Then we now have the other people that come along in the family as customers and whatever you want to call them. So at the end of the day, the board members are responsible to success of the company also. So in the real sense, the mother, the father, and the children, if they want to say they are successful, the father wakes up in the morning and is able to fend for his family, is able to give when it's required, is able to provide shelter, is able to provide food, is able to provide clothing, because children, for who they are, look up to the father and the mother. But for him to thrive and be successful, he's not the one that sits around and is babysitting and pushing everything to the mom. There are situations that things could take another turn, but in the real sense, in the family unit we know, coming from an African background, is the father. But the mom now supports, because we live in a world that 2 heads are always better than one. And we've now come to the realization that if we leave the man to do it all on his own, we're going to kill the man. So the mom chips in. And in the provision of shelter, accommodation, clothing, feeding, both parents come together. And the success of that family is, once that is sorted, the next thing in life is goal setting for each family unit. At the end of the day, the parents will eventually live their life. But do you want to have children that cannot live their life when you're not there to support them? So being successful is able to leave behind children that you say, yes, I have impacted in you what I was impacted into by my parents or by society. And the failures, because there will always be failures. The failures I had, I've tried my best not for you not to have such failures. I would have loved to be a doctor, but circumstances made me to be a carer. But even with the carer situation I find myself, I've been able to like go XYZ in the journey of life. And I'll only implore you to take a key from my note. Whatever key you take is the one I will try to input in you, but you are an independent person at the end of the day. So that is where parenting limitations comes in. You have goal setting, we have advice, we have mentoring, all this from our own experiences. A good father, a good mother will tell you, I would have loved to be this. No parent will stand today and say, yes, I am living the dream. Well, if I don't help you, you still live the dream. No, nobody can live the dream without support along the way. We as individuals, we always have support. It could be our parents, it could be other people that took us under their wings and mentored us, or it could be the challenge we put on ourselves that yes, I want to achieve this. So it is essential that there are goal setting and there are aspirations and dreams which we now map out for ourselves as individuals and also onto the children. If in the 5 years we are talking today, we don't have a goal, then in the next 5 years, yeah, you should have finished your GCSE, you should be in uni, or you should have finished your GCSE, you should be doing apprenticeship, which is better to go on to DIY and be your own company owner, or whatever we want to advise the children from what we've seen that they could achieve. That is where we say the family can thrive. And for you to thrive in this is that everybody is on the same page. You come in the evening, how was your day? I can be able to tell you this was my day. And from whatever I said happened in my day, you can pick one or something. Oh, you should have done this separately, differently. You could have done this way. And at the end of the day, communication is flowing. When communication flows, we can easily checkmate some things that could go wrong. We can easily nick some things in the bud. But when there is no regular communication, there's very simple opportunity for things to go awry. Even when we have it at the beginning of the year, okay, this is what we want to achieve at the end of the year. But if you don't open that communication, we don't know when to check it. And regular stock take comes from communications.
So what I'm hearing really, in terms of, because you've said quite a lot in there, and it's really fantastic that, you know, as a family and as a family unit, mother and father and the children all have their own different roles to play in the family. And the roles that they play contribute to the success of that family. And undoubtedly, if one of them happened not to be fulfilling their role, it could actually impact on the family. But the key thing is about communication, is about having a vision and a plan as a family. You know, although you use the analogy of a corporate enterprise, but so is family unit, should family unit be seen as a corporate enterprise then?
Well, the difference in the family unit and the corporate enterprise is the profit-making institution. This is not a profit-making institution, but it is an accountable and ownership situation. Somebody needs to take ownership of running the family, else everybody does what they like. And once there's accountability, there's ownership. There's that tendency for everything to be checked upon. If nobody takes ownership of running the family, everybody does what they like. And it can easily go under the radar when something wrong is going on. But if you take ownership and you're made to account for what you do, which is what the companies are made to do, which is why I'm likening it to the corporate enterprise. The CEO is happy to earn a fat bonus, but is accountable to the shareholders. The father is allowed to go to work and take home a big pay, but is accountable to the children because they want to take part of those earnings. And once you are accountable to these children, you've taken ownership of running their lives because you brought them to this world. You cannot take ownership without having a responsibility. Responsibility is all about taking ownership. And once the children knows, I have a father who is a sustainer of this family. If I want to go to him, I need to okay, I grew up in a certain way. During school terms, everybody is away. When you want to come home, maybe weekends we are at home. My father says we were 4 girls. Whoever goes into his room first will get more money. But if you don't go on time, and you now out, I didn't know we were going back today. You should have come earlier. But in the process of him giving you whatever, he will ask you about what you've done in school. And at the end of the day, the good answer you give will even motivate him to give you more. And which is what life is all about. If a promotion is on the table in an organization, they will do an appraisal. For you to get promoted, there has to be an appraisal. And the appraisal process includes what have you achieved in the last 1 year for this organization. Though the family unit might not be that strict, but to an extent, my father will ask you, how were your results? How were your grades? And if you're not doing well, because it was not too strict, but he was an accountant that knows accountability. And at the end of the day, every figure must add up to something. Yeah, every figure must add up to something. Your debit and credit will now give you a result at the end of the day, which is why a family unit has to take a clue from an organization.
It's interesting.
We have companies on the high street that have run for years because of accountability.
Yeah. I'm glad you're taking us there, really, because my next question kind of builds very well on that. And it's, how can parents build good relationship with their children? Because you talk about your dad asking questions, wanting to know, and also taking interest in what you all were doing and encouraging you. So how can parents build that good relationship with their children, that they feel they can have a reversal communication between the two, and it's not just one way?
One thing I've discovered is the key to good friendship is communication. And at the end of the day, if you have a parent that you are scared to go to, when you're low, you keep those things away from him. If the parent had developed, the first thing is to develop this friendship thing with your children, right from when they were young. You can't take it all of a sudden, because children identify who is there to make them laugh. If you make a child laugh, they take away that father figure from you that moment, and they relate with you as a peer. And if you have a child that you can play hide and seek with, right from when they were young, you have a child that you can lie down and they jump on you, and you build that relationship. It's not the relationship that when the dad is in the living room, you dare not go there. Dad is watching football, you dare not touch the remote. It starts from when they are young. A child is watching Peppa Pig. Of course, God knows you are not interested, but show a little bit of interest. Who is Peppa? What are they doing there? They are watching Tom and Jerry. Who are they? Is that a rat? Is that a this? Key into one or two that will make them, you want to talk about it. The moment they see you want to talk about it, from growing, when they are growing, everything they want to do, they know that you are interested. But if you were not interested in things they were interested in from growing young, because at the time he's interested into comics, of course you are not interested, but you have to be interested because of them. So which is how it will grow to when they are teenagers, to when they want to get married, take life decisions. The communication is open. And the kind of children of nowadays, they could pick up from whoever is giving them attention. And that's
What about a situation where the parents are so busy because of life issues, they want to earn the crust to be able to feed their family? They haven't really got the time. So the father, the mother have gone to work and to make ends meet, and they come home and all they want to do is to eat, rest, and sleep, so that they can start again the next morning.
I'm very sorry to say, I'm very, very sorry to say, I'm going to be frankly honest with you. There is no way that's going to work. No matter what, if you don't provide the time for your children, it's going to come back to haunt you, because you're putting in a vacuum, and that vacuum has to be filled by somebody. Who is now filling it is the person you don't know. And what are they filling it with? You don't know. A child is gone to school, there is loose time that needs to be filled by an adult, or by friends, or by you. So whoever is available to fill up that space is the one that will impact on their lives, and is the one that will put some things into their head that they will run with. If you are not the one putting the right things in their head, whoever puts on the right, whatever thing in their head, it will come back to you. If you are lucky, you have somebody that is not able to twist their brain, fine. But if you are unlucky, you get somebody that is able to twist their brain, which is where some grandparents come in to step in. If you are that busy one, they set up this, I'm having my grandchildren Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because they don't want these people to mix. And if you trust your grandparents enough and they are available, they are very good substitutes to use at that period. So in the process of coming back from school, they've had their lunch, they are tired, they've rested. What they do before you come home, you don't know. Who are they talking to? There's social media everywhere. There's a lot of adult influences all over the place. People are acting up as if they know what they are doing, talking on Instagram, talking on Twitter, but they are talking loads of rubbish. And these kids are picking up on all these things. But if you are not aware, you can't checkmate it. You can't make it to the no, you shouldn't be watching that. You shouldn't be listening to that. I'll tell you what, can we sit down and have another conversation? You see what you just watched now, I'll tell you why it's not good. I'll tell you why you shouldn't watch it again. You break it down, you analyze it to them, and they now know, oh yeah, it's not good. I have my little nephew that comes around. He's just 5 years old. Oh, I am not allowed. I am not allowed. And he says all this, I'm not allowed, with so much niceness. He's got a lot of allergies, but because he's not able to read the ingredients himself, so, oh, do you want this? Can you read the ingredients for me? The moment you mention what, because it's got wheat allergy, he will tell you, oh no, it's got wheat. So I am forced. He loves Ryan and Friends, Ryan, whatever. So the moment he comes in, his iPad is on Ryan. He now tells you, no, you want to watch it on the TV. So we are forced to watch it on the TV with him. And I now got into this Ryan family setup. I think it's an American family. The young boy, the parents are there. They are always doing all sorts. And they are doing some life skills training for children. The boy could be making some dough into cookies and telling how people how to cook. And I said, okay, fine, this is a good thing for you. So the moment he finished it, I said, what was Ryan doing now? Oh, Ryan was making a dough, and that dough is this. He started running through it for me, and I pick up some things. We have a conversation with him. The next time we are sitting there, he's jumping on me. He has that confidence that I give him time, because that is what children want. Children are nowadays can be engaged in their online stuff, but they still want your presence. They want your attention. So if you don't give it to them, they will fill it up with whatever, which is where the problem starts.
Yeah. So what about the situation where, and I'll take us to Nigeria now, as we both came from Nigeria, and we know the kind of setup in Nigeria of having maids, house helps, and all of that. Can those be regarded as the fillers for the parents? You know, when the parents
in the Nigerian setup,
the
maids are not the fillers at all.
Right.
Because we used to have maids, and the kind of maids we had, we were the one teaching them. We had one Auntie Mulika, she goes to a nice school. Because the way it's set up is, when we are away, she cleans the house and all that. The moment we are back, mom and dad is back, she goes to a nice school. So before mom and dad comes back, she will ask us to help her with our own assignment, because she's going to go to school soon. But she was good with some things with us, helping us how to wash clothes, wash plates. So we were feeding off each other. And there was there was a barrier there. There were no-go areas, so which the parents were still feeling in my own setup. But there are some families, the maids have been allowed to do a lot, and that is where you see some cases of abuse. And there are some also families where, like in Nigeria, on the street, everybody is a parent. The moment you are shabbily dressed, the woman in the two doors away with this one say, "Come, where are you going? Can you go back? Is your mom in the house?" The moment she's asking, "Is your mom in the house?" you might have a feeling of where she's going. And the next thing is, "I'm sure she didn't see you dress up like this." We don't have that in England. But at the end of the day, the Nigerian setup is a little bit more open to other people criticizing and other people having a say. Because I used to have aunties and uncles that would come in, "What class are you now?" I had an auntie that the moment she comes in, I never called my senior sister auntie. That is where she will start her own. "Why are you calling Dupe? So what is your own? My parents are not complaining." Because we had a 1-year gap. So everybody has an input in the African setting. And at the end of the day, till tomorrow, we have uncles that we hold in high esteem because they come in, they dash us money. I recently read somewhere that somebody said, "I used to think every uncle was rich until I became an uncle myself." Exactly. Because there are some uncles, because they want to talk to you, they first give you money. And they are friendly with you. But there are some, the moment they come in, they are scolding you. Did you go to school yesterday? What did you learn? So it's like there's a varied way of people having their own say in people's lives when they are from the extended family, and you can never take it away from them. That is the extended family.
Yeah. So that's really good. That we kind of blend it in with the extended family as well, because they have a role to play particularly in our culture, a role to play in bringing up children with the parents as well. You're not just left as mum and dad to bring up your children. It's like a community. It's community-based upbringing that we've all had. So how well should parents work together as a team in bringing up their children? Because one thing is both parents going out to work, someone else filling in the gaps and all of that. But when they do come together, should they come together to bring kids up? Because you know how kids are. They can easily play parents off each other. They can say, "Oh, but mom said I could do this." So if the parents are not working together, they could easily get distracted by the children trying to play them against each other. So in your view, do you think there is value in parents working really together to bring their children up?
100%. But the unfortunate part is it doesn't always work like that. There's always a softer side to one side. And the softer side, the children are always very easy to identify. And the moment they identify that softer side, they use that as the landing side. Okay, mom will not agree. Let me go and ask dad. And by the time dad accepts, it now becomes a conversation that, "Well, dad accepts, why won't you let me do it?" The best way out of it is to always agree prior to the children being involved, especially on the things that matter. There are some little things that you can let sleep. Yeah, like the issues of sleepover. You should never be on different sides of that. The school children go, you should never be on different sides. The decision making for parents has to be in alliance to what the family values is. And they both have to agree. Okay, yeah, we've got 2 kids. And these 2 kids, this is what we can afford for them. If you've got 4 kids, it's a different ballgame to what you can afford for them. So if you've got 2 kids and you want to be sure that you want to spoil them, you spoil them together. If you have 4 kids, you don't spoil one and leave the other one, because you're now creating a situation that one knows they are preferred. The moment you know your number of children, and you must know what you can afford for all of them, so you don't have a preferred one. Because if one comes and collects from you and you can't give the other one, you most likely say yes to some of your kids and say no to some of your kids because of we can't always love them the same way, because one we all, let us not kid ourselves. Children don't act the same way. You've got children that they are happy to check on you, and they are laying a foundation in your heart. One will not even check. You are the one that's chasing them, and they are all grown up together. They grew up together in the same household.
But then, isn't it about not what they can do for you, but as a parent, that's your responsibility. So you love them
at the end of the day, we are just human. Okay, I'll tell you what. I have a girlfriend. She's got 2 kids and a boy. The boy is the last one. She relocated to England not long ago, and she's like, okay, the first child is going into the uni. The 2 are in the secondary school. I recently had a conversation with her. She said, you know what? If you want to send the second girl on an errand, make sure you repeat it like 10 times. But if you want it done and move on to the next thing, just call my boy. He won't even ask you, when do you want it done? It's already done. Tell me, who will you regularly call? And who will you not easily want to do things for?
Well, I can understand.
It's not because of who she is. But I tell you what, the middle girl that you find difficult to send on errand, this girl is always chatting me. She's about 18, 16. Auntie Tayo is me. I'll just say on my WhatsApp around 12 midnight, what are you still doing? Go to sleep. I just have to check on you. She has a good side.
Exactly.
But when it comes to things, so it depends on what the father or the mother flows with. If the mom is the one that appreciates, oh, you didn't check on me, why didn't you call on me? You could have that kind of likeness for that one. That, oh, when she wants something, I give it to her. But this gentle boy, the boy is going to go to a boarding school, but he can cook, and he's just 14. And all she needs to say, just mention it to him, and he's done with it. He will do it. But at the end of the day, the parents are the one that needs to imbibe all these life skills, what really matters, what doesn't matter into these children. Because when you're growing up, there are some things you think matters that doesn't really matter. But if the parents have agreed it, and they let you know that, you know what, you wake up in the morning, you say your 2 minutes, 3 minutes prayers, you make sure you wash your mouth before you eat. Those are the little things that lay a foundation in our lives. I grew up in a house that my father was in upstairs, we were downstairs. But when we now meet, I'm now talking about when we're teenagers. Have you greeted me this morning? Have you used the toilet? Have you used the toilet? Is expecting bowel movement confirmation. It is now I realize that it's necessary you have a bowel movement. Have you been to toilet? We used to find this strange. But in my house, you must brush your mouth before you even have breakfast. Because that is the way he felt is the best way to go about life. Even when I'm old, married, I find it difficult to leave my house without a bath because of the foundation that was put in me. No matter how tired I am, there was that I used to do night work. I come back from night, I won't go into bed until I brush my teeth and have my bath. But I have people that when they are not going out that day, it doesn't matter to them. They're not going out, why should they have a bath? Well, it depends on individual family. And when all these little things matter, that child is also able to make what really matter. At the end of the day, a child that does not see little things making an impact will not see big things making an impact. A child that does not know that you need to save a little bit will grow up not knowing how to save. A child that does not know you need to take stock of your day will not know it really matters for you in the long run in life. Those little things add up to who we eventually are on the long run. So the parents, if they don't make it necessary that they agree, one child will always find it easy to run away from accountability. Mom does not want to hear it, so I don't talk to you to mom. Dad is happy to let you sleep. I didn't do well in school. That will make an issue out of it. This is what I want to do with myself. I can go out with my friends. I'd rather call mom and tell mom I'm not coming home. And when the dad asks, oh, I told mom. And the mom will not question. So those are the little things that make it, okay, there's a divided parenting. So they know where to key into. So there shouldn't be divided parenting.
That's really good. Thank you. So it's one voice coming out from both parents, one voice, one side. There are no two sides, it's just one side, and that's the parent side.
That's because really... at the end of the day, even when the softer one wants to be like, okay, am I sure? No, wait, let me call you. Have you called your dad? Have you asked your dad? So she knows she won't get away with it. Okay, mom might be tempted to say yes, but wait, go and call, tell your dad. You want to go out tonight? It's no problem, call your dad. Because she too doesn't know the right answer at that moment. So call your dad.
And jointly they then make a decision.
Exactly.
On that point. So you mentioned, because you kind of taking me to where I'm going next. So you mentioned things like, life skills, cleanliness, saving, being able to save money, looking after yourself, and all of those things as some of the things that your dad imbibed in you. So what other life skills do you think that parents should help their children to cultivate or develop?
Well, I'm talking from the academic view now, because the life we live now, education is vital. Even if you're going to leave school after your GCSE, no matter what you want to do, the man that is a joining man needs account reporting to be done to HMRC. And if he doesn't clearly understand it, even the letters will come in, he will know what it means. He will now get a penalty. So the basic education is one issue. Right from when they're young, the basic understanding that you need to take your academics serious is one side. Is on one side. There is no two side about it. There's no halfway. The moment the father and the mother are on the same wavelength, okay, yeah, you have to give academic a go. If it doesn't work out, we know you've tried it. But it's not that mom says it's okay to go to school. It's not okay to go to school. A child will wake up one day and feeling poorly, but they're just playing you. So the moment the parents know and put in that you cannot play me, you have to be serious and intentional about things. That is one key factor. Parents should let children know you need to be intentional about things that matter, which is number one. Growing up, of course, in their learning years is about academics. So you take that serious. Then as they grow older, organization, your room is untidy, go back to do it. I'm not going to do it for you. I can come in to help you. You are not allowed to throw your school uniform everywhere because you are tired when you get back from school. Put it somewhere neat and tidy. Even if it's dirty, use the laundry bag. And when they are getting to a level in life, they will get married. And somebody that's been well brought up now marry somebody that's always flinging things about. That will be the number one problem. In my household, we don't used to do that. And no, it was no big deal. Why won't it be a big deal? Tidy, cleanliness is everybody's job. Now we are not told to be washing our hands. We are told to be wiping. That is one of the things that we overlooked. Some people caught this virus because of not taking it serious to wash hands. And being clean doesn't take anything away from you. You don't want to go into somebody's untidy house and sit down, you offer tea and drink. You will go. You don't want to go to a restaurant with table dirty from somebody's last eating and the restaurant did not clean it. So we go to hotels, we see the place nice, tidy, neat and that, and we want to go back there. So why do we not want to keep our house untidy? So if you put it into children, you wake up in the morning, you lay your bed. We went to boarding schools. That is one thing you were taught in boarding school. Every weekend they come and do inspection. The moment you enter that dormitory that Saturday, everywhere is shining. But come back on Monday, it's not the same. But they were teaching us for a reason. Your uniform, there are secondary schools that the lines has to be lined.
They used to call them gaiters, didn't they?
Gaiters. They have to be in one particular way. So if you don't teach all those people, agbada, they call it parachute. I know how to iron it today because we were 4 girls. Our last one is a boy. He came late. So we were forced to know how to do the agbada. You will fold it upon you. And at the end of the day, I used to work where we had a reason to iron clothes. And they said, it's no big deal to you. It's no big deal to me to iron. I will iron neat and square. But I might not do it every time. But I still have it and I know how to do it. I find it strange when some people find some normal everyday chores. I don't know how to do it. I just met a lady recently. She was telling me about the fitted sheet, how difficult it is for her. I told her, I said, you know where I learned how to fold it? It was on one of these Saturday night programs with Art and Deck. They were just messing around, and one of them was like, do you know how to do it? Do you know? I said, no, I don't know how to do it. Say, I'll beat it to you. Who can fold it the fastest? And I was like watching them. Yeah, you have to get the angles right, tuck the angles in, then you now start folding it. So there are little things that will matter on the long run. A woman that is married and is so messy, married to a neat guy, there's going to be an issue. No, there's no two way about it. Even if you are not working, the man will expect the house to be tidy. And when you're also working, the man expects the house to be tidy. And it's your job. But if you are not used to it, you cannot rush things into place and still do the necessary things. We were talking about going to work and all that. The life we live, 24 hours is goddamn too short for a day, unless you don't want to rest. And if you are not used to these things, in between is cooking, in between is tidying, in between is school run, in between is your own personal development, career development, it all into the 24 hours. So you have to know how to manage time, how to manage money, how to be focused, how to be intentional. Those are the things a parent needs to teach a child. You're on school holiday. Okay, what do you plan to do for the next 4 weeks? Let us agree. In between, we go on holiday, fine. We've made a provision for holiday, which they will look forward to and will thank you for, because they will always remember it. It's not all work and no play. So it's I give you this, you give me back that. So you know how to tidy your room, you get on along with it, it's no big deal. You come back from school, even from 6-7 years old, they should know how to do these things. It's
so you obviously believe,
to pick it up. Yeah.
So you obviously believe that children should be assigned chores in the house.
Absolutely. What you don't get used to doing, you don't learn. No, it's true. Because I listen to one woman sometimes, and the woman was like, don't be the mother-in-law that your daughter-in-law will not be praying for. And when she went on, she will be praying for you when she is married to the man that she wants to marry. Because it's not just about all the finesse, is well read, is in a good job. A lot of things unfold when you start living together. She will not thank you for having a man that cannot boil rice. She will not thank you for marrying a child that all he does is PlayStation, football, go out with friends. She will tell you you've not been successful in training up a boy, because the man is not meant to be in the kitchen, but there will be a reason for him. The woman will go into labor, come back and have children for you. She's carrying a baby and you are there watching TV. You cannot even help her carry that baby. Oh, she's too small. Is it not your baby? But you see some men, they will even from 2 days are ready to bathe that baby because they were exposed to it. There are children in this country that the younger ones are on them, mothering them, because the mother is gone to work and they're building up themselves. And they will be valuable tool in the household. The wife is tired. Put your feet up. Let me make dinner for you today. She will be glad. I recently had a girlfriend at work. She was like, she's been a widow now for like 19 years. And still nice looking, going to 65, talking about retirement. But men are still checking her out.
Wow.
But she told me that she cannot for the life of her imagine another man. That she got married young. She's an Indian lady. So whenever they are in the kitchen, the man, he had a chair in the kitchen with her. They will be talking, and they will be, the moment she finished cooking, the next thing is, I'm washing up. He will just say it himself, I'm washing up. And he will wash up. When they were having children, she said she never for once did school run. He made sure that was his job. there was a time she wasn't working, but she was just in the house to take up the bit after the school run. But there are some after school run, you come back, do all the cooking, do all the washing. Even him, his clothes is littered all over the place. It's not all about bringing in the money. A woman will go to work and still come back home and continue another work. She will be worn out. And at the end of the day, women, you want him to do one or two things in the house. I don't expect him to cook for me all the time. But once in a while, tell me to put my feet up. If you cannot afford restaurant, I don't even want the restaurant. Just let me see, get yourself dirty in the kitchen. If you gladden the home, and that is where the conversation issue flows. By the time he's in the kitchen, are you cutting that carrot like that? You this man. Okay, I will eat it anyway, but keep cutting like that. But you know what, you could have done like this, and you laugh, I will leave your kitchen for you. No, okay, continue. And you are bonding. It creates the kind of lovely family setup. Even the children are watching you mess around in the kitchen, bouncing each other off in conversation. And it creates a perfect family atmosphere that the children will also take from and want to be married into. And at the end of the day, when they see their dad doing, when they get married, they also want to be among used to spoil dad like that. And there is no matter how crazy the woman is, with those kind of things, it's meant to hard. Even when you want to now buy him a gift in appreciation, you can even decide to use your credit card.
I think that's, to me, I like where you're going, but I think I'm going to have to call you back on this one. You know, we talked about doing another one of this. I think looking at husband and wife, that relationship, that bonding, how can we develop that and cultivate a good grounding for the family unit? Because before the kids came, obviously man and woman met. How do they create that environment, readiness for the children to come? I think that would be for another episode.
I think the fourth point is you have to be friends. Well, not for today. Okay.
Not for today, Tayo. Not for today. So I'll call you back on that one to come and talk to us another time on that one. But I just want to now go on to what we were talking about in terms of chores. Should children be paid for doing chores? Like, like England now, you give them 50p for like washing the plates, for example.
Hey, let me just be my real me. For where? For what? I tell you what. I was 50 some months back. I find time to wash my car. I prefer washing my car than going to the car wash, because you will wash mommy's car, you will wash daddy's car. Who will pay you? For how much? Where is the money coming from? How dare you?
Just as an encouragement.
Those are things we should not, for whatever reasons. We can plan family holidays, we can plan regular pocket money for children, but not, when you finish washing the plate, I'll give you 5p. For what? Whose plates are they? Is it my plate? After going to bring the money, you will let them know that is their contribution, that is their quota for the house. Everybody has to have an input, which is where the problem starts when we now get married and nobody feels you have to have an input. No matter how solid the man is the one paying all the bills. If we one day start feeling, what value is she bringing to the table? And that is one key factor to a happy marriage. Today, there's so many temptations for men. At a point, your beauty will start diminishing now. And there are some younger girls, side chicks, trying to, not even with the life we live now. And men are so tempted these days. But when they remember the woman in the house, there are so many bills. I once saw somebody at work say, see, you went shopping, how much did your husband give you? They call it, sorry for the non-Yoruba speaking people, they call it owo-obe, maintenance money. I'm not sure it happens in England. Though my mother till tomorrow still collect, but in England, I don't think it happens. You are the one that know what you want to cook.
Yes.
You are the one that know how much you want to spend on feeding. So it's the woman's responsibility. And at the end of the day, the man comes home and see a nice, well-prepared meal. He will thank you for it because he didn't give you that money anyway. But if he's the one that is giving you that money, he will tax you. You know what, tomorrow I need dry fish and all that, start taxing you. But because he knows you go out of your way, you earn the money, you give it back to the family. He's paying the mortgage, he's paying the bills. That is your contribution. You have to have something you are bringing to the table. You go for a job interview. Everybody is there just like you. They all have qualifications like you. But the moment you start saying the additional things you bring to the table, they are ticking some boxes as a potential employee, somebody that's going to add value. But if you don't bring anything to the table, it's going to be difficult. So at the end of the day, the woman will input it in the head of the daughter. This is what I do in this house. Start thinking of it. It will happen. You need to be valued. When somebody is saying on Facebook, oh, she's my rock, she's my gist partner, she's my this, that, he's also thinking of the things she's bringing to the table. You cannot be the gist partner, you cannot be the rock when all you do is collect. You cannot be a collecting party and everybody will be happy with you. In these days, we have our children going out to dinner with friends. If you are the one that is always forgetting your wallet, they will not call you all the time. They will go out and say, oh, we had a night out 2 days ago. Before COVID, people used to just say, okay, let's hang out. And at the end of the bills come, everybody touches, okay, well, 15 pounds all around. Mm-hmm. All credit card, all Visa cards are touched, and everybody had a good time. But you don't even know how much each person spent. And that is what a good time is all about. In the same family unit, you don't know how much each person has spent at the end of the month by calculating, but by the input and the fun you've all enjoyed. There is electricity, there is gas, there is bills, where everybody is happy they've had their input. And that is what a family unit is. So when the daughter is waiting to wash plates and be paid for it, the food you hate, did you pay for it? The house you are living, did you pay for it? No, on a more serious note, because at the end of the day, you need to let them understand. That is your input. Mommy has cooked dinner, you go and wash up. I am washing the clothes in the washing machine. You be the one to put in the tumble dryer. You be the one to lay it out on everybody's bed. So everybody has their clothes on their bed. So it's little things, because when they are young, you don't expect them to load the washing machine because of colors and all that. But to put them in the dryer, they can do that. Let them load the dryer, just show them the settings. And at the end of the day, when it's time to lay everybody's one out, let them try it. If they mix it up, you now sort it out. That is the way they start off. But by the time they see laundry as mommy's chores, how will they learn how to do their own chores? Somebody that does not know how to tidy the kitchen, they won't be able to do it when it's their turn. And even you as a mom, you are happy to cook for 1 hour, 2 hours, knowing that somebody will clear up. And by the time you are resting, she has rested, everybody will now have a good time watching TV together. But when you are the one doing everything, you are worn out. You can't even have a good conversation.
Absolutely. You'll be exhausted.
You can't have a good conversation. You're exhausted. So everybody has to have an input, no payment. Tell them you're going to go on holiday. They look forward to it. Pocket money, you can have little amount of money every other week. That's your pocket money. But not to motivate to do chores. No, you have to compel them. Is your work? Go ahead and do
it. So in that case, is there a difference between the way children are brought up and disciplined in developing countries compared to the Western world, in your view?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The way Africans bring up their children is, we don't take no stages. We give it to you, you are meant to take it. I am the father, I am the mother, I know better. Can you know better than me? But my mom still tells me that, and I said, see, it's your time has come. See, now forget. At over 50 years, I think, Mom, I know a little bit more. In fact, my mom recently went for an operation for her eye. And me and my sister, she's a doctor in America, who did she clear it with? Did she clear it with us? that was a wrong move. And she's now having one problem with one of the eye. And we are now telling her, who did you tell? So at a particular age, the children will have to be the ones taking decisions for you. But if you don't really help them, because she's in America now, but she practiced in Nigeria and has some doctor friends. So most times at medical appointments, she will tell her, go and see this doctor. When you are there, call me, and they'll be talking about the prescription. They'll be agreeing it even before she leaves the doctor's place. But this particular case, she didn't pass it through any one of us. Even the ones in Nigeria, she went through, and it's not a case of, you see, you don't always know, though you're our mom, but it's in the den. Now we've seen a lot to be able to now look after you. So if you don't let these children know how to look after themselves, how will they look after you? My sister now, bless her, even having conversation, she'll tell you, listen to me. That's what we call her. Listen to me, I'm talking to her, listen to me. So she now called my mom, say, because you didn't listen to me, see what has happened. Now she's now gone to another doctor that they are now trying to help with that side.
That's good.
So it's restoring, but it's not going to be like it was, because at her age, she's over 80. She didn't really need that operation. She didn't really need it. So because of the I am the mother thing that we are taught in Nigeria, children here are allowed to make their mistakes. You go on the bus, you see a young boy jumping up and down, it will be like, can you just sit down? That is the way we are brought up. But the mother here is waiting. When you fall down, you get up. And that is to the learning he needs to know. If he doesn't fall, he will learn not to jump. But we were not like that. They won't even allow us to make that mistake. They won't allow us to make that mistake. So to an extent, there just has to be a mix of both. You are allowed to make a mistake because everybody, the Mental Health Capacity Act allows everybody to make some stupid mistakes and take responsibility. But to what extent are we free? Because some mistakes will be life-changing.
Yes.
I don't know if this is allowed, because recently there's this transgender thing that is going on, that I say in CQC there's failed people that they're not giving them enough support, and that at a particular age, children should not be allowed to take that decision, because there's a young child, a teenager now that's going to court, that they allowed him or her to do that decision, take that decision, which was wrong, because as at that age, the full picture of what they were putting themselves into was not known. And it's in this country, I say, oh, I think I'm a boy trapped in a girl's body. Can I go? The gentle, I think he's not a boy. He's gone through it now, but he's regretting it because he was allowed at 16 to start that hormonal injections, changes and all that. Before he could be fully gone through, he's now having a change of heart. He's having a change.
So do you think there's too much freedom?
Too much, absolutely. So the guy is now in the high court trying to make it impossible for a particular age to take that kind of decision, because the full picture is not known to them as at that time, which is where parenting comes in. If you're given too much liberty, you go all the way. But at the end of the day, have you looked at all the pros and cons and be able to say, in 10 years' time, will I be happy with this decision I'm making? In Africa till today, people don't get married without the parents' consent.
But then again, there are issues around that as well, because I don't think we can say that the way we do it in Africa is 100% the best.
No, that's what I'm saying. There should be a mix. There should be a mix.
Yeah.
Some life-changing decision making should be agreed and well discussed, because peer pressure these days is doing a lot. Peer pressure is coming in a lot. So if you can sit down with them, what do you see? There's an adage where I come from. What the adult sees lying down,
oh gosh,
the child standing up will not see it.
Do not see it.
And the same is not because physical, is about experiences. When a child is taking a decision and you now like put some life experiences to back why that decision is not good, they can understand. The goalposts change. But if you don't break it down, they'll say, oh, you just want to be dad over me. No. But if you can support your argument with realistic examples of why it should be that way or why it should not be that way, they can still reason. but you cannot compel them. The more you compel them, the more adamant they become.
Absolutely.
And that's
Yes.
where the problem lies. And you are now breaking up that communication line. They now tell you only what you want to hear, and they are doing what they want to do. And at the end of the day, you are missing out on vital information that you can help to make a change. We were strictly brought up, I tell you. We didn't have choices.
Yes.
We didn't have choices. The first time I did my WAEC, I had all my papers because I wanted to be a lawyer. The moment I came home, I didn't pass my maths, GCSE. My father sent me back to another school to do it because he wanted me to be an accountant. I didn't have a choice. Honestly, I didn't have a choice. I went ahead. As I was completing the accounting professional exams, I was registering myself to do LLB law. I went to my mom to open up to her. I have paid. As at that time, 20,000 naira was big money.
It cost a lot of money, yes.
So I have paid. I am starting this course. My mom said she doesn't know about it. I was working with my dad then. I did my professional exams, ICANN. I normally get like 2 months off leave, study leave. And my other exam was starting in my year 1 in my LLB course. My father suspended me from work because I did not report back after my study leave. I eventually got fired by him, honestly. But I finished that LLB on my own. Honestly, he fired me. He said, what? You initially suspended me for not reporting back. I wasn't even introduced to accounting before. Good luck to you. I've fulfilled all righteousness. I've done the professional. The day I was, what they called it then, inducted into ICANN thing, that was the happiest day of my life. Come on, you need to see the picture, the way it was grinning, the way it was hugging me. In fact, my father, I don't think he has ever hugged me after that day. It was so happy. It's okay, yeah, I've done your bidding. But now let me do my bidding, because that is the way we were brought up. But here we could discuss it. Yeah, you could be an accountant. You could do this. So Daddy, I don't like it. I don't like maths. But we won't understand. But at the end of the day, when I came to England, I did a course and I needed maths and English, and it came handy for me.
Exactly. Exactly.
They wanted your GCSE pass me maths and English. I said, thank God for this man.
Exactly.
So what the adult sees standing, what the child sees standing, the adult lying down, we see it. So we need to just have a in between. We are in England now. We see how parenting is. We were grown in Nigeria. We see how parenting. So we just blend it together and make a better person out of our children. Yes. So we are even at an advantage point, which works. So we can't use that beating type. No, police we are not.
Exactly.
There are better ways.
Exactly. Oh, thank you so much for your time today. But before we round off, just give a bit of parental tips. I always like to leave our viewers with some tips in all the topics that we talk about. I know you've packed a lot in there, but can you remember a couple of tips that you just want to share just to round off?
Okay, the basic one is, what are the dreams and aspirations we want for our family as a unit? Once we have that dreams and aspirations, every individual we have a dream, we have an aspiration. Life events might not make it all fully fulfilled, but we need to have it. And each family, once you have it, you work towards it. And you make it some tick boxes situation. Okay, this cannot go on because of this. Can we substitute this? When we had this baby, we said this baby is going to be an MP. And he's now going to school, he doesn't even like to hear politics. You can change it. Find something similar. So we can always make an amendment, because even prototype of cars, the original manufacturer, we have an idea where the wheels should be, but over time they will make some adjustment, and that is the best way to go. So the first thing is have a clear vision of what you want with your dreams and aspirations for yourselves as individuals and for the children. I want to retire from active work so year. I want to be fully paid on my mortgage at so time. And when I'm fully retired, this is what I want to do with my time. And where does the children fit in between this? And also the children, this is what we wanted. Then also carry them on board. Let them know, let them be part of this. and have a feel of what they really want to do. Then have a mix of it. Then the other thing is regular checking up on each other. COVID has given us a reason that we cannot be too far from ourselves. Fine, we can be far, but we need to check up on each other. There are so many communication opportunities now. Nobody can say there was a network failure because they can never, even in Nigeria now. There are parents in Nigeria that are children here, check up on each other. And it's okay not to be okay. Don't hide it. When you're not okay, let them know you're not okay. So when you're not okay, how do we check it and get you to be okay? Don't hide things. No matter what, if you have been bullied at school, be able to talk about it. Let them be able to talk about it. If a girl is falling in love, let her be able to talk about it. If a boy is feeling unusual about himself, is having people calling him, trying to pair him, to get him into something, let him be able to talk about it. So those are the key factors: communication, vision setting, and goal setting. There should not be any reason for there not to be goals. Because the Bible says, in the absence of vision, my people perish. Because you just wake up and do it. It cannot be business as usual after this COVID. People are now working from home. And at the end of the day, if you are not focused, you will spend your 8 hours doing nothing in that house. And your employers will eventually know. And as it is now, people are going to be getting laid off because most of the manpower hours that were used by organizations were not even needed. And in the next 6 months, 1 year, people are going to be appraised on what value have you really, do we really need, do you? And people that have worked so hard while going to back and forth at work, they will still keep their job because they are relevant. And you now, because you're now in the house, you can't still get yourself to be focused. You have a problem. And now we have extra hours, people working from home, you don't have the travel times. Try and deploy it into something useful. You used to resume work at 9, between 7 and 9 that you used to have your commute. Try and keep something to those periods. Still wake up your normal time. Find something, you can now put it into family time. Use it to catch up with the children and disappear when you need to disappear. And the return commute time, use it again. And at the end of the day, you're now adding more time to sharing with the family. So in a way, COVID has given us a lot of things to think about. And it has given us a reason now to know that family is key. People that were not seeing eye to eye have been forced to live under the same roof for hours on end. And a lot of families now say, yes, there is quality in sharing time together. There is quality in life that we've missed out. You can sitting down at the table and having a meal together. Switching off your phones, let everybody stay off social media. They call it fasting. Social media fasting. Try it. There was a way we used to live before all these things came. So all those things are the things that we need to agree and say, okay, every first Saturday of the month, we must always be at home together. Every last Sunday of the month, we must always be at home together. Because once they are married, you cannot gain back the lost times. And the thing to keep giving to them while you are together is what you gain back. Because if you taught them how to remember to look out for each other, they will remember to look out for you when you are old. If there was no reason for them to be calling you, when you are old, they will forget you. It's true. There's a man that was saying something on the TV recently. He said, some men, I pity you. You are sending your children. My family relocated. They are in Canada. They are in America. And you're your own in Nigeria. These children that when they were with you, they were even struggling to remember that is in the house. Now they've gone to America. You will be on your own in your old age. And it's not good. So we need to let them be part of us. We are part of them. And it goes a long way. It goes a long way. And the bottom line is communication.
Communication. That is fantastic. Thank you so much, Tayo. I really appreciated this. We can carry on for a long time.
Honestly,
but we've run out of time, but there will be other times I would call on you. So thank you so much. And to my viewers, if there are any topics that you'd want me to cover, please let me know. Just drop any comments in the comment section. And don't forget to press the notification button and also subscribe to my channel. Until next time. Bye-bye for now. Bye.
Thanks for having me, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you.